There we go. Apologies. What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV. Back with another live stream today. We will be looking at the latest Arsenal transfer news, and hopefully that boy Morata does not end up in an Arsenal shirt. That is for sure. And we'll be talking about the latest news in terms of Manchester City. Double raid on Manchester City. Listen, I'll take anyone from Man City right now, people. Anyone from Man City will do. As the transfer window, man, I don't know about you. I'm underwhelmed, shall we say, so far. You know, Eddie new contract, El Neni new contract, and being linked with Morata. This is not the way I saw it in my mind, people. Let's go into Mikel Arteta mode, people. You know, he needs another 5 transfer windows. So let's slow it down a little bit. And big up to everyone for tuning in today. We've had great support on the streams of late. Obviously, we're going to keep doing some of the pre-recorded stuff as well, which I know people have been enjoying. I know busy schedule and summer and stuff. Sometimes it's easier maybe to watch a quick 10-minute video than a long stream. So big up to everyone. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow on Twitch if you're watching on there, people. Let's see what's going off here. Buenos Aires Guna, big up man like Curtis Shaw. Big up, bro. It's like a sauna in here. I need to open the window. Zinchenko is great, said Emil. Listen, we'll talk about Zinchenko. I would definitely take him. Big up Curtis in the community. Hope you're well, Darren. Can we get Pep Guardiola from City? Well, according to some Arsenal fans, we've got Pep Part 2 as our manager. Pep with more here. Yeah, man, Ray Liotta, rest in peace, condolences, man. Honestly, and I know I'm going completely off topic here. Goodfellas for me. Growing up, you know when you're younger, man, you watch all these films, and you know I loved all the gangster movies growing up, Godfather and American Gangster, and you know all them films. But Goodfellas to me was one of my favorite movies. So terrible news, man. I actually think I might have to watch that film tonight, actually, as a mark of respect. But yeah, man, absolute classic of a movie. Dominic Calvert-Lewin 14. Now I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. Big up Omar. See you net. Big up your damn selves, people. Big up your damn selves. Man said, Big C, go off topic. Yes, yeah. Sometimes you have to talk about a few other things. Link FC, linked with everyone, sign no one. Expectation, Osimhen, Gnabry. Reality, El Neni and Ketia, new contract, and Morata. That's where we're at right now. But you never know. Arsenal tend to sign players that we don't expect, you know. Big up Even, who said, big up Curtis, big up Snake Eyes, who's bigging up Latte, Casino, great movie as well. And Pep selling Man City rejects to Arteta. Listen, I think it's different when you sign players from, you know, you sign Chelsea players that can't even get in the team. That's a bit different. But Manchester City have got quality players, man. If you take Zinchenko or you take Gabriel Jesus, you're taking winners. You're taking internationals. They just can't get into the best team. Probably, you know, one of the best teams we've seen in the Premier League in the last decade. So I don't look at it the same way as when we were signing, you know, Gallas or Danny Welbeck. You know, that's a little bit different. Luke said, and Villa bid accepted. Jan and Villa, man. We were waiting years for that brother to sign for Arsenal, and we never got him. He goes down with Higuain and Benzema and them, man, there, you know. But let's get into the latest news anyway, people. Eddie hasn't signed the contract yet, but listen, 100 bags a week on the table. I'm sure you know what he's going to do. Warrior Talk, what are your thoughts on Morata? Don't bring him anywhere near Arsenal. Nowhere near. Nah, no Morata 14. Don't bring him anywhere near this club. Man City rejects, all good with me. I'm telling you, I'll take Man City's, you know, under 23s right now, the way we've been performing, people. Today will mostly be transfer business, so there's not a lot else going off. So let's talk about transfers. So we'll start with somebody potentially leaving the football club, and that is the boy Nico Ross-Clark Pepe. Looks as if he's on his way out. I think we all expected that to happen anyway. But this story has developed today, and this one's it's a bit of a curveball. This one. So, well, the first bit we understand. Arsenal have lost patience with Nicolas Pepe. I think we all saw that coming with Arsenal, and I think we all expected this to happen. The player has been proposed to several clubs, starting with PSG. Although Ousmane Dembele is their priority, Luis Campos, who brought Pepe to Lille, is attentive to his situation. So if anyone's been following this story in France, Leonardo is leaving PSG. He's their sporting director, and they're going to bring in Luis Campos. He worked at Monaco and worked at Lille. He is the guy that brought Pepe to Lille in the first place. Now, they're trying to sign Ousmane Dembele at the moment from Barcelona, but a lot of reports coming out of Spain today saying that his priority is to stay at Barcelona rather than to go to PSG. Now, PSG have just let Di Maria leave. Di Maria set to go to Juventus. There's a space there for a wide player to go to PSG. Now, wouldn't it be interesting if Pepe, can't hit a barn door this season, can't get a game for Arsenal, goes to PSG, one of the most potent attacks in world football, and starts banging goals in left, right, and centre. Now, let's be honest, he's probably not going to start most of the time. They've got that front three of Mbappe, Messi, and Neymar, but clearly sometimes they drop Messi back into that 10 role. At times they've used Di Maria on the right, so maybe Pepe could go in and fill in that role. Now, number one, if he was to go to PSG, how much money do you think we could get for him? Now, PSG were linked with him when we signed him, but his agent said he was keen to go and experience a different league. If he goes back to the French league, I think he could go there and do the business. He's ripped that league apart before, and he was playing for a team not as good as PSG. So, people saying 30 mil, 35 mil, I mean, I think you're looking more 20 to 25 mil. Maybe you get 25 just because it's PSG. But I think he'd bang goals in for PSG. I really do. It won't be a profit with what we paid. Nah, no chance. No one's going to pay 72 million for him. Mbappe, their new sporting director, would turn down the deal. I mean, there are reports that Mbappe wanted Leonardo sacked, and that's why they got rid of him. We'd be looking to get 30 mil, 100 mil, yeah, if only. Pepe is being signed as a sub. Even the PSG fan said this. Yeah, listen, he would be a backup dancer, of course, but I'm sure he'd enjoy playing for PSG with Messi, Mbappe, Neymar, Champions League. And listen, fair play to him. I actually hope he goes there and does well, because as much as I don't think he's done enough at Arsenal, I also think he's been massively mistreated this season. Hasn't started in the Premier League since November. What's he supposed to do? Some players are just not good players to bring off the bench. There are a lot of footballers that once they're out the team, psychologically they're not as switched on. A lot of players, they have to start. You can't bring them off the bench. I don't think Pepe is a great sub. And he plays with that pressure that, listen, even if I do well, I'm not going to start. Broads, big up my brother Broads in the chat, said Mbappe is already better than Edu. Yeah, well, it's not difficult. It's not difficult when you see what Edu's done. Guna8 said mismanaged. I agree. Pepe would rip up the French league in a PSG side. PSG are needing a new kit man. They have to pay 20 million for him. And listen, I think he'd get goals there. Big C, do you feel Pepe is noted as the biggest flop in Arsenal history? I don't think he is. I don't think he is the biggest flop in Arsenal history. I know people will point to the price tag, and I get it. 72 million record buy definitely hasn't lived up to that in one, not one bit. But I still don't think he's the biggest flop in Arsenal history. I think Mustafi's a bigger flop. I think Granit Xhaka's a bigger flop, because I look at it and I think, okay, people will say 72 million, those guys cost 35 million, and I get that. But Mustafi was terrible for Arsenal, and we desperately needed a centre-back at that time. At least with Pepe, we haven't been desperate for a winger because we had Saka, we had Martinelli. So it's not like we're like, oh, we are desperate for Pepe to perform. We just wanted him to do well. I think Mustafi was a horrendous deal.
I think Granit Xhaka was a terrible deal. Francis Jeffers, terrible deal when we needed a striker. Everton sold Wayne Rooney to Man U and sold Jeffers to Arsenal. Look at the difference. I mean, that's a great question. That is a great question. Let me know in the comments, who do you think is Arsenal's biggest flop signing in recent times? I wouldn't say Pepe, honestly. You look at the goals to game in the previous seasons, he's done all right. He's done all right. Certainly not 72 million and certainly a flop. Lucas Perez, I mean, Lucas Perez didn't play enough really, did he? He wasn't a good signing really. For me, Mustafi's the first one that comes to my mind because we paid 35 million probably, what was that, 5-6 years ago, where 35 million was probably the equivalent of 55 million now, and he was terrible. He was terrible. So Denis Suarez, yeah, came in on loan for 6 months, so I think it's hard to say he was. Thomas Partey, wow, that is harsh. Mustafi and Willian, I mean, Willian, probably the world's most expensive free transfer. Santos, Sanogo, or Shamak. I mean, Shamak actually started off well when he came to us and went downhill real quick. Mkhitaryan, yeah, he definitely didn't do well. GSB said 16-17 window. Xhaka, Mustafi and Perez. What a terrible window. Summer 17, El Neni. And no, that was 16-17, sorry. January was El Neni. Summer was Lacazette. Paying the price for all of this today. And you know the interesting thing, GSB? Xhaka's still here. Mustafi went for nothing. Lucas Perez, I think we got like 4 million. El Neni's still here, and Lacazette's going to walk. We haven't made more than about 4 million for all those players. Absolutely terrible. Lichtsteiner, he was bad. Kallstrom with a broken back. He scored a very important penalty in a shootout, so I give him some props. Scalacci headbutting Koscielny, Scalacci or Jeffers. Listen, I think I will do that. You know, our worst 11 at the Emirates, because there's some bad players who've been at this football club. Dineshen said Ben White, 50 million. Gray says that as well. Seba said Arteta as a player. I mean, I would argue as a manager as well. But anyway, Mustafi for me, worst one. Absolute shambolic player from pretty much. He started off quite well. After that, he was absolutely horrendous. But anyway, let's move on. Pepe being linked with PSG. How much would we get? It wouldn't surprise me, people, and I'm saying this now. It wouldn't surprise me if Pepe went there on loan. I've said this many times. I think Pepe's stock is so low right now, and because he's on 130 grand a week, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes somewhere on loan with maybe an option to buy, and we don't even get any money for him. And, you know, it's a loan and potentially like a £15 million deal. We're so bad at negotiating deals. And with Edu in charge, you know, you've just given Eddie and Nketiah 100 grand a week. I think it wouldn't surprise me if he went on loan. Yes, sir, said Gervinho is way better than Pepe. Uncomfortable conversations. These are bad convos, man. I didn't like Gervinho at all. He was a live wire, though. He was a live wire. Fran said price tag makes him the biggest flop. Fran is not a fan of Pepe one bit. But like I said, I think because of the need for Pepe to do well wasn't as great as the need for Mustafi to do well. We bought Mustafi to be starting centre-back next to Koscielny, and he was terrible. And we had to play him because we didn't have better. With Pepe, even though we paid so much money for him, we know it was in small installments, and we know we had quality in terms of Martinelli, Smith Rowe, Saka. So we weren't desperate for Pepe to perform, even though obviously we wanted him to perform. So for me, Mustafi is the one I would go for. John Leat said Lassana Diarra came from Chelsea and then was gone to Portsmouth, ends up at Real Madrid. And by the way, make sure you subscribe to Fran. Big up Fran. I had a good show with him yesterday. If you haven't seen that one, go back and watch through that one. Let's move on, people. Although he said very talented footballer, will smash it when he moves. Unfortunately, a lot has worked against him, but that's football. Yeah, it happens. I remember Diego Forlan going to Manchester United. This guy couldn't hit a barn door in England. He went to Spain. He won the Golden Boot. You know, there's been so many. I remember Shevchenko when I was younger, one of my favourite strikers in European football. You know, I always liked AC Milan in Italy. Came to Chelsea, did nothing. Didn't look like he could do anything. Circumstances, style of play, style of football. It happens, people. I think Pepe will go to somewhere like PSG and go and bang goals in. But we'll have to see. It'll be interesting. And I'm sure he'll be chomping at the bit to get a move to a club like PSG and get away from Arteta. No disrespect to him. Let's move on. Let's talk about the headline of this show, people. And that is that Arsenal are interested in another Manchester City player. And that is Zinchenko. Arsenal are considering a double swoop from Manchester City. Mikel Arteta already wants to sign striker Gabriel Jesus from his old employers, and Sports Mail understands he holds an interest in Alexander Zinchenko too. So we're going to break this down a little bit. And I want to know your thoughts on this, whether you'd be happy with this deal. Because I'm a little bit... How can I put this? I need to word this correctly. Listen, Zinchenko is better than a lot of the players we've got. So if you sign him, it makes sense. He's a good player. He's versatile. He can play left back. He can play centre mid. Cool. It makes sense in that sense. But I'm looking at it from his point of view. Now, I've read the full story. If you want to see it, Jack Gorn, who's a very good writer actually for the Daily Mail, is their northern correspondent. I'm looking at this from Zinchenko. You're a versatile player at Manchester City. If he comes to Arsenal, left back, I don't think he would start him over Kieran Tierney in terms of Mikel Arteta, if Tierney is ever fit, by the way. So I don't think he's a starting left back. Now, they're talking about him playing centre midfield. Now, my problem with Zinchenko is I like Zinchenko. I think he's a very talented player, and I think he walks into Arsenal's squad somewhere. But I don't want him to be the centre midfielder that we're signing to play next to Thomas Partey next season. He's not a specialist in midfield. He's played at left back for the last couple of seasons. I would rather buy a specialist centre midfielder that lifts this team straight away than signing a versatile player, jack of all trades, master of none. I just don't see why Zinchenko comes to Arsenal to be a squad player when he can be a squad player for the best team in England. If we're signing him, we would have to guarantee him first-team football. Where do you guarantee Zinchenko first-team football? At left-back or centre-mid? I'm just not too sure. I'm not too sure. I want to read your comments. I want you to let me know. I just want to give you a little bit of context around Zinchenko. Zinchenko is only on, I say only, but I'm just talking in Premier League terms. He's only on £20,000 a week. He's on £20,000 a week. They signed him from a club in Ukraine. Obviously, didn't have to give him massive wages. He has 2 years left on his contract. And according to reports, would cost around £30 million. I want you to let me know in the comments. Would you sign him? Do you think he would sign for us? And where would you play him? Because I just think if he's a squad player at City and a squad player at Arsenal, why would you move? Nathan, big up, bro. Appreciate your kind donation. He said, I'm sick and tired of hearing our fans say, but he's a good squad player. We need players that are huge upgrades on the players we currently got so that our first team players become rotation. You know what? And you make a good point there. I've said this. This was my debate with El Neni. A lot of people have said, I don't mind El Neni. He's all right. He's on the ball. He's a squad player. But you saw at the back end of the season, we needed squad players to get us over the line. And ultimately, even though El Neni did well and Ketia did well, they weren't good enough to get us over the line. They couldn't go to Tottenham and beat them. They couldn't go to Newcastle. They couldn't deal with the pressure. They didn't have the quality. Arsenal have a lot of players in their team that need downgrading to being on the bench as Xhaka's, Ben White, players like that. For me, you need to put pressure on them and push them down the pecking order rather than getting players that come in and, yeah, they're all right. Zinchenko on the face of it makes sense. He's versatile. He's better than some of the players we've got. But where would you start him? And would you pay 30 million for Zinchenko? Let's get into your comments. But big up Nathan with the super chat. Big up Pace and Pound. I love that name. Zinchenko plays well as an attacking midfielder for Ukraine. He's not a good left back. Does he look good at left back because he's playing in a Manchester City team that is absolutely dominant? They won the title with Zinchenko. They won the title with Fabian Delph at left back. I'm not sure they would look that good in Arsenal's team at left back. James said, see you, Nick. Big up yourself. Let me know what you think, people, around Zinchenko. Gary said Zinchenko is a great player in centre mid, but I get your point. I wouldn't want his signing being detrimental to signings in key positions. There's an argument to be had. He is an upgrade on Tierney. Is Zinchenko a better left back than Tierney? Let's get a poll out. Let's get the first poll of the day. I'm going to be honest, I don't think he is. I don't think he is. I think he's probably better on the ball than him. I don't think he's a better defender than him. So I suppose it's what you like. But obviously, we've been having this discussion over the past few weeks is that Kieran Tierney for me is becoming a problem in terms of fitness. Is Zinchenko a better left back than Tierney? And I suppose the other one, is he a better centre midfielder than Granit Xhaka? I would say he could be better than Xhaka in midfield, but I would want a better midfielder. Availability is the best ability, 100%. I say it all the time, and I agree. Left central defensive mid, I smell Xhaka's replacement. Tierney is too injury prone. Christian said Tierney is bang average. I think that's harsh. Tierney's biggest problem is fitness. I think he's a good left back, Kieran Tierney. But my biggest problem with him is the lack of availability. Abhinav said Zinchenko is better. Yes, he plays. Tierney doesn't. Well, in that sense, I totally get you. I totally get you. Just like I said, to give a bit of context on Zinchenko, he only played 15 league games this season for Manchester City, so less than 50% of their games. Year before he played 20, year before that he played 19. These aren't all starts either, so he's not getting regular first team football for Manchester City. Zinchenko is 25 years of age. He turns 26 in December. Listen, I think Zinchenko is a very good player. I really do. I think he's very good on the ball. He's versatile. He's a good age. Again, you're talking about a winner, somebody that's won titles, won trophies. If you're bringing him in to be a squad player, you use him in rotation at left back with Kieran Tierney, and you use him sometimes in midfield, then I would take him under those circumstances. If you're signing him to be your specialist centre mid to play next to Thomas Partey, for me, I would say no deal. If you're buying him as a versatile player to use in different positions, then I would take him because I do think he has quality and he knows the Premier League. So Manchester City at the moment apparently are in talks with Cucurella from Brighton to come in and play left back for them. This would obviously push Zinchenko down the pecking order even further at Manchester City, which is why apparently he would consider a move. But according to this report, if you go and read it, it does say that Zinchenko wants to play in midfield. So if Arsenal were signing him, I think they're signing him to play in midfield. That is where I have concerns about this deal. But a very good player nonetheless. I do rate him. Jitesh, thank you for the super chat. Said, put me at left back in City's team. They would still win the league. I mean, they dominate the ball. They don't have to defend too often. Obviously, Cancelo has had a magnificent season at left back. If they sign Cucurella as well, I think that's Zinchenko's time at Manchester City pretty much done. Why don't we buy Cucurella? I mean, 40 million, apparently. 35 to 40 million Brighton are asking. And with us having Tierney, I don't think Arsenal are going to go and spend 35 to 40 million on another left back. So that's why I don't think. And obviously, if Man City want him, he's going to go to City ahead of Arsenal. Cho Desmond said, I get your point, Curtis. You're making sense. I appreciate that. Theo said, if Man City get Cucurella, why don't we go for Kyle Walker? I mean, Walker's 31. He's on massive wages. I think he's on about 150 grand a week. He's probably not going to be in a rush to leave either, to be honest. So these guys don't want to leave. They're the best team in the country. Gunnar Roller said, for 30 million, no chance, go get Basuma. Exactly. We spoke about that yesterday. Basuma being apparently Brighton willing to let him go for 30 million. But I just think it's the court case. I just don't think Arsenal want a player with that hanging over. It'd be Arsenal's look. Because of how Arsenal are, it would be typical that Arsenal would go and buy Basuma for 30 million. He'd get locked up. You know, he'd go to court, get found guilty and get sent down for 5 years. But yeah, you know, we'll have to see. I hope we go in for him. I think he's a top player. Let me end this poll quick. 61% of you saying no, Zinchenko is not a better left back than Kieran Tierney. 39% of you saying yes. But yeah, listen, I don't. If he comes, I think they're signing him as a midfielder. From what I'm reading in this report, Abhinav said, "Big C, we're in for Basuma." He's talking about Chelsea. I hope not. North London's finest. Apparently, the court case has been dropped for Basuma. Let me check that out. I need to check that because if he ain't got no court case, we better be in for him. Basuma court case. Right, is anything there on Google? Premier League star extended bail for 5 weeks. Does have a pending court. I can't see nothing. Says he's on bail unless I've missed it. The last one was on in April. It said he remains under investigation and he's currently on bail. His bail's been extended till June the 6th. Which is when there'll be an announcement. So no, the case is still there. He's on bail till June the 6th. So maybe people are waiting. Maybe people are genuinely saying, listen, I need to see if he gets not guilty, then we go and sign him, you know? So yeah, there we go, people, with Basuma. Probably why clubs haven't moved for him yet. Let's move on. Next story, people. Obviously, the Gabriel Jesus deal was tied into that story. Arsenal, of course. Everything I'm reading about Jesus is Arsenal still think they can get him. But I would imagine Jesus has probably said, give me a little bit of time. I think if Arsenal had got Champions League, Jesus might already be holding up the shirt. I think the fact we fell into the Europa League, he's probably sat there and thought, you know what? Give me another week. Give me another week. I need to see what happens. You know, I need to see what clubs are most interested in me and if I can get a Champions League move. So we'll have to see on that one. Now, one person we are being linked with now, we all know we don't want this to happen, is this guy. We've spoken about him yesterday. Just please, Arsenal. Edu, Arsenal. If anyone from Arsenal's watching this, I'm putting out a plea. Arsenal fans, I'm sure you'll all join me in this plea. We've been through a lot. We've been through a heck of a lot. You took us from invincibles to 8th place backup dancers. We've had some bad strikers over the years. Shamak, Park, Jeffers, Bentner, Sonogo, and Ketia. We've had some bad ones. Lucas Perez. Alvaro Morata, please. Honestly, if we sign Alvaro Morata, I think they'll delete my account on Twitter with the things that I will say if he signs. They'll ban me from Arsenal. There's just no way on earth that this deal can happen. No chance. Just no. The problem is, and the thing what worries me, people, is it's a deal that I can imagine Arsenal, if they ever signed him, I can see the way that they would structure the PR to make you think that this is some sort of good signing. You know, I can just see it. They would say, Spanish international, he's played for Juventus, played for Real Madrid, he only cost 20 million. He knows the Premier League, he's good in the air. You know exactly how they would spin it. This would be a step too far for me, people. Eddie signing 100 grand a week contract. Damn, that's a rough week. Spurs getting top 4 over Arsenal. Whew, that is painful. El Neni new contract. But signing Alvaro Morata would be, that's breaking point for every Arsenal fan, in my opinion. Don't bring this bum anywhere near Arsenal Football Club. Don't bring him anywhere near the club. I'd rather see Eddie up front than this guy. And that's serious when I say things like that. Let me tell you how serious that is, people. Don't you dare bring this guy to Arsenal. Big up Ade for becoming a member on the channel. Really appreciate your support. We will do another member stream, maybe next week, maybe towards the end of next week. Hopefully it's just paper talk or a smokescreen. According to reports in Spain, Arsenal are in talks with Atletico Madrid to sign Alvaro Morata. This deal would not affect the signing of Gabriel Jesus from Man City or any winger signing like Gnabry. I mean, I'm going to talk about Gnabry after this, but I wouldn't get too caught up on Gnabry links. And even if the club extends Eddie Nketiah's contract, how funny is it, people, that Eddie Nketiah's been offered 100 grand a week and hasn't put pen to paper? How funny is that, by the way? Eddie's still saying, 100 grand a week? Yeah, go on, I'll call you back. I'll give you a ring back. Don't call me, I'll call you. Eddie's actually got us on strings. Like, yeah, let me see who else is out there and what other deals I can get. Don't buy this guy. I don't believe this story, by the way, that, oh, if we signed Morata, we would still go and get Jesus and keep Eddie and Nketiah. So you're going to have Nketiah on 100 bags a week. You're going to have Alvaro Morata, who's on 110 grand a week and would probably want a pay rise. And then you're going to sign Jesus, who's on 90 grand, who apparently wants 150. You're not going to have 3 strikers on over 100 grand. If we're only going to sign 1 striker, in my opinion, if Eddie puts pen to paper on that contract. Just please, I hope it's paper talk. I'm not even going to look at his face for too long. Let's get it off there because, you know, if I keep staring at him, he'll end up signing for us. We're not going to speak it into existence. Big up everyone for the support on this video. As always, over 2,100 of you in the chat. And can we hit 1,000 likes? Make sure you keep subscribing to the channel. We've had fantastic support. Really appreciate it. Goated community, as I always say. We've got some shows coming up. I'm trying to get some collabs sorted. I'll be on Troop's channel. Not next week, the week after. We spoke yesterday. So I'll be on his show, the Back Again podcast that he does. So I'll be on there, not next week, the week after. And I'm trying to get a few different people to come on here as well. Just to keep it a bit more, keep it fresh, keep it interesting over the summer. Don't forget, we will do a Champions League watch along tomorrow night. You know, massive game, Real Madrid against Liverpool. So we'll be live half an hour before kickoff for that one as well. Tomorrow, I'll probably just have a short transfer video out in the day. And then we'll do the watch along in the evening, people. Thoughts on using that money to get Ivan Toney instead? Yeah, it doesn't seem like we're in for Ivan Toney. Seen very few links. But Arsenal sometimes do this. We end up signing somebody that we're not even talking about. Andrew said Zinchenko never played centre mid for Man City. Arsenal are going to use him as a centre mid. Does that sound right? His defence is also questionable. Dead club. Andrew not happy. Listen, you've got to sign specialists. You know, I don't want somebody that spent the last 2 years playing left back coming to Arsenal and being a specialist centre mid when 30 million gets you Basuma. Why spend 30 million on Zinchenko as a centre mid? I like him as a player, don't get me wrong. I think he's very talented. I would only take him as a squad player, you know. One Devotion said, big up Big C in the community. Morata is done out. Why are we linked with these slackers? We got to hope it's just the agent using our name for clout to try and get him a move elsewhere, you know. That's our only hope, really. What's we got? Killer9 said, appreciate all the work. Curtis, my favourite YouTuber. Hey, big up, man. Appreciate the support. Forest, come on, you Reds. I'll be watching the Forest game on Sunday against Huddersfield. Hopefully they go to the Premier League, man. Really would love to see that. Yeah, Mad Link Up, you'll see me over there. Turkish and C collab, definitely we'll get a show done with Turkish. I've been speaking to him, so hopefully we'll get something done. Get DG on, yeah, man, definitely. You know, me and DG have done loads of shows in the past. And now the season's finished, definitely would, you know, we'll get more collabs going. Yasin said, do a show with Dan Potts and Lee Judges. Yeah, they've both been on here before, but not together, actually. So that's another one. Hugh Wizzy link up soon land, bro. Definitely. Definitely over pre-season. We'll get that one done. Doing a watch along for the Forest game. I'm not sure. Because I think I'm going to be out while that game's on. So I'm not sure whether I'll be able to do a watch along for that one, people. But if I can, I will. You know I'll do that. Curtis Shaw on Troops. Yeah, look out for that one. Let's move on. I'm going to get this story out of the way quickly because I don't like to give the community false hope. And it is Serge Gnabry. So I apologise already. I'm already apologising. It's too late to apologise. I'm sorry, people. It's got to be done. And this comment is outlandish. Alvaro Shaw, you better relax yourself. Listen, don't ever call me that brother there, you know. But now, big up, man. I Am King said, do you link with Lee Gunnar? No, I've only met him a couple of times at the Emirates. And obviously, I think he lives abroad now. I believe he lives in Spain, right? So, Jitesh said, Wizzy and Wax link up coming soon. Yeah, big up Wax as well. I speak to him. I've done shows with him, actually, as well. That'll be a good one. And Robbie, yeah, we're due one with Robbie. He's busy at the moment, but definitely going to get him on over the summer months. So lots of link-ups coming on as well, people. Can you do a collab with Julian and Ty? I'm not sure YouTube would even allow that, mate. You know what I mean? The level of positivity would be way too much. Some would say delusion. So we'll have to see. But anyway, Arsenal transfer boost. I don't know about that one. Arsenal transfer boost with Serge Gnabry refusing to sign a new deal with Bayern Munich, with Real Madrid put on red alert. I mean, I don't think this. I think we've missed our opportunity. I'm not going to talk too long about this because I did mention it. I did mention this on a previous stream that I did. That Serge Gnabry, I think we had one opportunity to get him. It was this summer. Get the Champions League. He would have come, in my opinion. I don't think he will come to Arsenal. Real Madrid apparently are looking at him now. They've missed out on Mbappe. Can you imagine a front three of Gnabry and Vinicius Jr. and Benzema? Obviously, they've missed out on Mbappe now. So I just don't see it happening. You know, Arsenal transfer boost, I don't think it is. So I'm not gonna throw this one out there too much. Listen, if we get Gnabry, I will be absolutely in shock if we get him to Arsenal. I don't see how you can convince him to come here. Maybe if he's desperate to come back to Arsenal and put those, you know, those early days behind him and prove that he can make it in the Prem, then maybe. But if Real Madrid are approaching your agent, you don't go to Arsenal in the Europa League. Listen, I'm like every other Arsenal fan. I want him to come home. I want him to sign for Arsenal. Wear that number 14 shirt or, you know, whatever number he wants. But I just don't see it happening. I don't see it. If he leaves Bayern Munich, I think he ends up at Real Madrid. So I'm not even going to talk about it too long, to be honest, because I don't think it will happen. I'd love it to, but I don't think it's realistic. Snake Eye said throw him the bag. They would have to really throw him a big bag to try and turn his head. Martin said, good morning, community. Please don't get drawn in again this window by these Arsenal fraudulent links. Villa, Newcastle, City, Liverpool, all getting business done. Arsenal equals drawn out sagas. I mean, you look at last season, some of our signings we made at the end of the window. We were getting battered by teams throughout the transfer window being open. You know, we went to Brentford, got beat, Chelsea, Man City. We signed players at the end. It was too late. Get your business done early. Get your business done early, people. There's no World Cup. There's no Euros. And there's no excuse for us to get these deals done late. But can they convince players to come to us? Gunnarola said, Gnabry is the one. Where's Dom Raul? Brown envelopes now. Throw the entire bag. Our marquee 14. I think if Arsenal had any chance of getting Gnabry, you'd have to make him the highest paid player at the club. He earns around 120 a week. I think you'd have to give him 200 to 250 grand. A top earner at the moment is Thomas Partey, and I think he's on 200 grand a week. So I think you'd have to give him 250 at least to get him through the door. And even then, he might not want it. Why would he want to play in Europa League? KD said, do you have any update on Leno leaving the club? I still think we need a decent goalkeeper. He was linked with a move to Benfica, but they were saying they couldn't afford the 10 million euros fee. And listen, I would like to keep Leno. I think we need two good goalkeepers. Obviously, unless that Matt Turner is a very good goalkeeper. I haven't seen him play. But I would like to keep Leno at the club, to be honest. But it's the World Cup year. He's not going to want to play second fiddle to Ramsdale. Sack said, give Gnabry 250. I would actually give it him. Robbie said Partey's on 100k and the other 100. Nah. He's not on 100k. I saw it a few times. Partey wages. Let me just double check. I've seen, 200k. 200k a week. Partey was on a reported 60 or 70k a week at Atletico. Came to Arsenal. 200k. Partey 200. Lacazette 180. Pepe 140. Ben White 120. That's our top 4 earners. I would say 4 players there that you're not getting value for money. Thomas Partey injured too much. Lacazette, I mean, I don't need to say much. Pepe hasn't done enough, doesn't hardly play. Ben White, not worth 50 million. So that's the problem. Your top earners need to be your top performing players. Yeah, Partey is on 200k a week. Oh yeah, now Eddie on 100k when he signs. Anyway, let's move on. Next story, Serge Gnabry. Someone said there, would you play Gnabry ahead of Saka? I think you play them both. I think you can play them both. Maybe you move Saka to the left. Maybe you play Gnabry on the left. I think Gnabry and Saka with a new striker would be a lethal front three, you know. I would take that. Reece Nelson is coming back. He's like a new signing. Never been a big fan of Reece Nelson. He did play all right the other night. He looked quite sharp in the Conference League final, but I'm just not sure. Front three of Osimhen, Jesus and Gnabry. Yeah, but Osimhen 80 million, Jesus probably 40, Gnabry probably 40, 50. 170 million, 160, 70 million, plus signing on fee, plus wages. You know, maybe on Football Manager you could get that front three, Steve. I like your optimistic view, but we're not getting those three, that is for sure. Gnabry, Jesus, Saka. Well, that would be, that's closer, but still probably we would struggle to get Gnabry. I just don't think he would come to us. But hey, let's move on, people. Let's move on. What's my final story? I got another story. It's gone off the screen. Let me get that back up. I'll go through some of your comments anyway. No, what I wanted to talk about, actually, this is what I wanted to talk about. We were talking about Thomas Partey and Kieran Tierney. Now, I think Arsenal are 12 months away from having a major problem on their hands with these two players that we've signed. I think Arsenal need to get away from the whole... We did it before with players like Wilshere, Rosicky, Cazorla, Diaby, you know, back in the day. Keeping players that are injury prone because of their talent. I look at Thomas Partey. We signed him 2 years ago. We remember it. Robbie was spinning around. Daneo made new tunes. I was going crazy. Everyone was going crazy when we signed him. He turns 29 next month. 24 games in each of his seasons at Arsenal in the Premier League. Now, bear in mind, it's a 38-game season. Thomas Partey's missed 14 games each season in the league. 28 matches missed in 2 seasons is not acceptable for a £45 million, £200,000 a week player that turns 29 in 2.5 weeks. I'm going to keep it 100. And like Sean's saying here, I'm going to keep it 100. We got to start having uncomfortable conversations at Arsenal. Thomas Partey, at this current moment where we're at, Thomas Partey's been a flop at Arsenal. At this point. Now, you can break that down into how well he's played, when he hasn't played well, and when he's been injured. But when you put those three things together, Thomas Partey has been a flop at Arsenal at this current moment. Is Thomas Partey a good footballer? Top quality footballer. We've seen when he's at his best. He is a beast when he's at his best. But we didn't sign him to be a beast once a month, twice a month, and then disappear for 4 weeks, 6 weeks. No, listen, I'm saying it, Omar. I think he's been a flop at this moment because he doesn't play enough. He doesn't play enough. He's injured too much. You get a spell out of him where you're thinking, all right, maybe flop's a little bit harsh then. No, maybe flop's harsh. Flop is, to me, really when you've completely failed. I would say he's been underwhelming. I take it back. Flop's harsh. He is our best midfielder. He's been underwhelming. He's been underwhelming. I think we can all agree with underwhelming. He misses too many games. Misses too many games. 200 grand. 14 games missed this season. We're going to play Europe next year. Thursday night, you might have to travel to, I don't know, Turkey or Spain or... Why is he injured so much? Massive disappointment, Guy Fawkes said. Okay, I think flop was a little bit too harsh. Yeah, I take that back. He's still a quality player. But underwhelming, 100%. I thought he would take our midfield to the next level. He's got to be on the pitch more. He's got to play. I need him to play 30 games plus in the Prem, minimum. 30 games. Hardly ever got injured at Atletico. Comes to Arsenal. Now, does he have to do too much running? Is the role wrong? Is the league too quick for him? I want to know why these guys get so many injuries. KG said Partey is actually 39. Oh, man. I heard he's got grandkids. Saint Mar said, problem is the medical stuff. We've been saying this for 10 years, 15 years. We used to say it under Wenger, why do our players get injured all the time? And we're still getting it. Partey is our best player, but Arteta has mismanaged him, possibly. Boris Shaw, nice U-turn. Don't ever compare me to that clown. But yeah, I had to do a U-turn. I said flop, saw a bit of heat in the comments. I thought, you know what? But this is the beauty of the community, people. I said flop, then I realised, you know what? You're being too harsh here. But definitely underwhelming, and maybe it has been mismanaged. Colder weather, people do say weather can cause this as well. So there's Partey, 28 games missed in 2 seasons. Way too many. Then we look at Tierney. I mean, look at these numbers. Even worse. This brother, I mean, this guy runs around. Oh, I train in a t-shirt in the snow. I'm a tough guy. First season, 15 games out of 38. 23 matches he missed. Second season, 27 games out of 38. 11 matches. All right, he's getting a bit better. Third season, 22 matches. 16 games missed. I mean, I'm sorry, mate. Maybe you should start wearing a jumper when it's cold. Because whatever you're doing, Kieran Tierney, it ain't working, my brother. 50 games missed in 3 seasons. I don't care how good this guy is. I don't care if people think he's the future captain. He's got a great attitude. He trains in a t-shirt. You know, blah, blah, blah. You have to get at least a left back that can challenge him. Minimum. You can't put your eggs in that basket and say, Kieran Tierney is my first choice left back this year, and have Nuno Tavares as the backup. He can't be the main left back by himself. You've got to either buy an upgrade on him, which is difficult because he is good, or get somebody that's maybe equally as good as him and challenge him properly. He misses too much football. Way too much. 3 seasons he's been at the club. 3 seasons. Not playing enough football. Why is he getting injured so much? We signed him injured, first of all. We signed him injured. So we knew he was an injury-prone player. And he just doesn't seem to be able to shake this off, people. Doesn't seem to be able to shake it off. Me, personally, I would give Tierney 1 more season. I would give him 1 more season just because to buy 2 good left-backs is difficult. I mean, I saw these links. Newcastle were being linked with him potentially for 50 million. For 50 million... I'm sending you the bank details. I'm saying drop that money in that account for 50 million. Paid 25 million for him. He's not playing enough football. Not playing. It doesn't matter how good he is. But I don't think Newcastle would pay 50 million for him. I think it's paper talk, to be honest. But no, he's definitely not a Tesco bag for life. He's one of them 5p ones that just break. You put too many bottles in there, it just, mashes up. I like Tierney, and it's disappointing to have this conversation about 2 of... Let's be honest, Tierney and Thomas Partey are 2 of Arsenal's best players. Let's be real. Thomas Partey, when he's at it, is probably, in my opinion, you could argue he's Arsenal's best player when he's performing. I don't think... Yeah, I'd say when Partey's at it, he's Arsenal's best player. But he misses too much football. And the thing is now, 29 next month, 200 grand, no one's going to buy him. And this is the problem with Arsenal. Arsenal tie themselves to players because of the huge wages. And this is something we've got to stop. This is why, over the years, we can't sell players because they're saying, okay, we'll take him off you, but we can't afford that wage. So then Arsenal have to say, okay, we'll drop the transfer fee so that you can afford the wage. And this is the biggest problem with Arsenal, giving big wages to average players. It's not even so much the transfer fee, it's the wage that goes alongside it. Gunnar Roller said, Partey is absolute class and no flop. It's on the club to provide adequate competition and options. No one calls Kevin De Bruyne a flop and he misses a lot of games. It's a good point. I suppose when your squad's better, you don't miss the player as much. Then you don't look at the loss of that player in as big, a negative fashion, because we need Thomas Partey every week. You look at it in a more disappointing way. Also, he doesn't have a quality midfield partner. Andrew said, do you think Zinchenko is bought as a backup for Xhaka like Lokonga, and Arsenal won't buy Tielemans? If that happens, we're finished. This is my worry, Andrew. This is my worry. If you're buying Zinchenko to play centre mid, I'm not happy, because you need a specialist to play next to Partey, not a guy that can play centre mid. I want someone that is playing centre mid and performing at a top level already. So Moran said, Kevin De Bruyne or Fabregas? Listen, I can't lie. I love Kevin De Bruyne. I think De Bruyne is outstanding. But that's my guy. That's my ball playing centre mid at Arsenal. Fab was carrying Arsenal's midfield as a teenager. De Bruyne's playing for the best team in English football. Could De Bruyne do that in Arsenal's team? And Fabregas wasn't injured often either. I got to go for Cesc. A lot of people will go KDB, recency bias, I get it. For me, Fabregas is generational, man. That brother was in the Arsenal team at 16. You know, he's won the World Cup. He played for Barcelona. I got to go Fab. Fab, for me, is one of the best centre midfielders I've ever seen. I would go that far, considering his circumstances. Captain, goal scorer, teenager in the team, World Cup winner, champions. He's a monster. Elliot said, hey, Curtis, have a look at the Dr. Beer interview on AFTV. Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I know they'll have doctors on there and they'll have their opinions and stuff. I'm sure it is insightful. Eddie follows that trend. Yeah, I mean, you look at it, people. Mustafi, all these guys, we couldn't get rid of him. It was because of the wage. You're tying an average player down to 100 grand, 120 grand. When you want to sell them, the club go, well, he's only worth 7-8 million. We can't give you 8 million and pay 120 grand. This is why I expect Pepe to go on loan. I don't even think we'll sell him. Who's the best player you've seen live? It's got to be, people, Cristiano Ronaldo or Thierry Henry. Them two. They're the two best that I've seen live. In terms of in that game, I saw R9 Ronaldo play live. He played for Brazil against Jamaica at Leicester's ground years ago, but he was at the back end of his career, so he wasn't quite the same. And Ronaldinho was in that game as well, but he didn't play the full game. So those four are the best that I've seen live. I haven't actually seen Messi play live, so I can't put him in there. So for me, Henry, Cristiano Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and R9, they're the two best. Bergkamp as well. Go Dennis Bergkamp as well. People were saying Thiago over Cesc. Not for me. Not for me. Jerry said Kevin De Bruyne has had 2 seasons out of 6 under 30 games. That's not that injury prone. Curtis, you need to talk to Robbie. He said Eddie deserves the new contract. Robbie, come on. You know, I need to get Robbie on here. I need to grill him about these type of things. And I saw his player ratings for the Arsenal squad. Yeah, we need to talk. We need to talk, Rob. We need to talk. Have you seen the Ferdinand and Terry argument? Yeah, it's spilling over on social media, isn't it? Got no time for John Terry, to be fair. Snake Eye said Arsenal need to stop giving big wages to average players. The problem we have is a poor scouting department. Look at Liverpool. We need to scout better. That would help reduce the high wages. Said this so many times, bro. You know, Luis Diaz on 70 grand a week. He's on 70 grand a week. Yet we're giving Eddie 100 grand a week. So it shows that we're doing something wrong. Now, don't get me wrong. When you're in a great position as a football club, you don't need to pay us big wages because the club itself is an attraction. Whereas because we're struggling, we're having to throw money at people to make them want to sign for us. Atomic Puppet said Fab can't lace McTominay's boots. Behave, mate. McTominay would be lucky to clean Fabregas's boots. Never mind play on the same pitch. Oh no, I read that. Yeah, appreciate that, Snake Eyes. Really appreciate that. Mane is on 100k. I mean, Mane on 100k, Eddie on 100k. I think we're doing something wrong here, people. People, I'm out of here. Short and sharp today. Really appreciate your support. 2,300 of you in the chat. Make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a transfer video out around midday tomorrow. Champions League final watch along tomorrow night. So 2 bits of content tomorrow. Make sure you join me for that. Like the video, subscribe. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Take care. Enjoy the good weather. And I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.